Okay, so we're discussing now practical things of what you're allowed to wear on Shabbos. To give another example, okay, so we're learning about belts and all those types of things. So there's an interesting question. What happens, let's say there's a belt loop on the pants. And what happens if it tore? So it's hanging down and you're planning to fix it. So there's also an argument in halacha, can you walk out with those pants or not? Because the fact that you want to fix it means it's not subordinate to the garment, it's something special, and therefore it might be carrying. But again, some people say you could, some people say you can't. Okay, so now let's get into some practical applications, as they call it here. So if you have a belt, okay, and the belt is sewn to the garment, whether it's a coat or whatever, and it's sewn onto the garment, even if the belt is not buckled, you can wear it on Shabbos outside. If it's not sewn to the garment, it's just going through loops, so then there's an argument if you're allowed to walk outside with that on Shabbos. A lot of people permit it. If you buckle the belt or close the belt, for sure you're allowed to wear it on Shabbos. But if you don't, so then some people say you could, some people say you can't. So again, the best thing is to, if you wear a coat with a belt, is to buckle the belt. Now what happens if somebody wears a belt and suspenders? Now let me preface this concept. If you have a belt, if any garment that's useless is not a garment. It's not a garment, basically, if it's useless. Okay, so the question is, if you have a belt and suspenders, is one of them a waist? Okay, so the suspenders holds the pants better than the belt. So now the question is, can you wear, in addition to the suspenders, can you wear a belt? So again, there's two opinions. Some opinions in halacha say no, each one has a purpose. The belt has its purpose, the suspenders have a business, so they're both useful. And some people say no, in that case the belt is useless.
If it's decorative.
If it's decorative, then it has to be connected, sewn to the garment.
Sewn.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a separate entity, so it's just, you can't wear, in fact, it's an oath, people used to wear feathers in the hats.
Yeah.
Remember? Some people, I guess, still do, but it's not as common as it used to be. So the question is, can you wear those feathers on a hat, in a hat, put it into a hat on Shabbos? Huh? If it's sewn into the hat, then for sure you're allowed to. But it's decorative. It's not part of the garment. It comes off the hat very easily. You just stick it in. So according to most opinion, you wouldn't be allowed to wear a feather in a hat on Shabbos because it's not doing anything. It's just decorative, but it's not actually part of the garment.
It makes the occasion more momentous, isn't it?
Huh? Let's say somebody wears a pin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you wear a decorative pin, right? And it's pinned to the garment. So that becomes part of the garment. But if somebody just wants to wear a decorative pin in a pocket, so then it's not part of the garment.
Inside the pocket?
Yeah, I'm saying whatever, or even sticking out a little bit. But then it's not part of the garment, and then you're actually carrying something additional to the garment. So you wouldn't be allowed to do that. But so like we said, remember the handkerchief in the pocket here. If it's sewn in, then it's part of the garment. If it's not sewn in, it's not different than anything else you're carrying in your pocket, that if you're not allowed to carry, you can't carry something in your pocket.
Can you fix it with a pin?
I'm saying if you put it in with the pin, then,
Attach it.
if you attach it with the pin, preferably before Shabbos, so then it wouldn't be a problem.
Before Shabbos?
Yeah, ideally. Now, many people on Shabbos wear what's called a gartel. A gartel is this black belt, so to speak, even though it doesn't have to be black, and it could be any color and it could be anything. But you wear this gartel on top of a garment. So now the question is, am I allowed to go outside on Shabbos? So something that people are unaware of, and it's not so simple in halacha. let's say I wear a gartel, okay, over my jacket or kapot or whatever, and now for Shabbos, walking home, you want to wear it underneath your jacket, underneath the kapot. So now the question is, it's not doing anything. So if you have, let's say, if you don't have a belt, let's say you don't have a belt. So then the gartel, if you put it over your pants, is holding up the pants also. Then it's not an issue. But there's a rule in halacha that Pos can bring down. You can have one belt per garment. So, but let's say your shirt is tucked into your pants, which is a rarity today. But let's say the shirt is tucked into the pants, and then you have a belt. So then the shirt has a belt and the pants have a belt, because now it became interconnected. So then it would be a shaila halacha, by the way, if you would be allowed to wear a gartel underneath your kapota on Shabbos, or underneath your jacket on Shabbos, because it's not doing anything. Now, if you're wearing a tie, and then you wear the gartel over the tie, so then the gartel is under the coat over the tie, so then it's like a tie pin. According to halacha, what happens if you wear a tie pin? It's a piece of jewelry and you can wear it. So if you wear a gartel over the tie, so then it wouldn't be a problem. But what happens if you have the shirt tucked into the... So if the shirt is not tucked into the pants, so then the belt on the pants is for the pants, and now the gartel is for the shirt. So that would be allowed.
But the way that you tie it, would that not now eliminate it?
Again, a garment that's not useful is a problem.
Even though you're not carrying it.
Correct. You're wearing it, but it's that's what we learned. A non-useful garment is a question of halacha if you're allowed to wear it.
But if
What?
you don't use it going to shul,
But it's a garment that you're not using now. What?
You're going to wear a gartel on top of your jacket, on top.
Like this, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as a belt.
That's what I'm saying. That you could do. But I'm saying if it's underneath the jacket, if it's underneath the jacket, then it has to be used for something. Okay. What happens if somebody has what?
How about the Shabbat belts, the carry through? It's not sewn into the garment and
No. Okay. So now that's a good point. It was coming up soon.
That's Shabbat one.
No, let's say people don't carry it. Let's say there's no Erev, let's say. Okay, so you're not allowed to carry. So what do people do with the keys? How do you get into your house? Okay, so what people do, they'll make a Shabbos belt. Okay, so one way they used to do it is they actually in a belt they would replace the buckle of the belt with a key. Okay, and then the key would go into the belt hole. So then the key was actually part of the belt.
Right.
The key was actually part of the belt. And that's not a problem at all. Because again, it's part of the belt. It's a garment.
Belt hole, they have a special hole with the key going in the hole in the belt.
They would connect instead of the buckle, in the line of the buckle, they would connect the key. They would set it up. They would connect the key to it and then they would use that as closing the belt. Or what many people do is they'll have an elastic.
Right.
Okay? So then, let's say you'll have an elastic. So, by the way, let's say you have keys like this, yeah, on a ring. You can't just hang it on your belt. That's carrying. They're not used for anything. Okay? So let's say you want to make a Shabbos belt. So the best way of making it's very easy to do, by the way. So the best thing would be a key that has 2 holes. I don't know if you could see, but this key has 2 holes. Has 3 holes, by the way. But you have 2 holes. Then, I'm just saying practice. You take an elastic and you knot it to this side, to this end of the key, the hole, into the hole. And then the other side of the elastic you tie to the other side of the hole. Okay? So there's elastic, and then what happens actually is the key becomes part of the belt.
Right.
Because without the key, you don't have a belt. Because the two pieces are on two opposite sides, the key is actually part of the belt. So then it becomes a garment called a belt. So that wouldn't be a problem to wear on Shabbos at all. Technically, if it has one hole, say this key would have one hole, it's not the best way of doing it, and you still tie one end to one end of the hole, and the other part of this elastic to the other end of the hole, and you put them both on opposite sides of the hole. It's b'diavad also good, because without the key is holding the elastics together.
But what's the purpose of the elastic band?
Oh, but you can wear a garter. Let's say people wear around their tzitzis. Many people wear around their tzitzis to keep them flat. Yeah? So then, let's say you have a belt on your tzitzis. Okay? So then you can just put a key there, and then you wear it on your tzitzis.
But if somebody is wearing it like just over their shirts.
Oh, again, every garment is allowed one garter. So then it's a garter for the shirt. That's what it is, halachically.
Any purpose.
But halachically, according to the Chassidish poskim at least, that every garment can have a garter on it. Okay? First of all, because the garter, you could say, keeps the shirt also straightened. So but there's absolutely no problem in halacha with that. There would be a problem hanging keys on a belt. That wouldn't be allowed, because that's mamish carrying. Now, what happens if somebody has a very loose button? So if the button is still functionable, there's no problem with it. Okay, let's continue on this thing.
Otherwise?
Huh? Otherwise, it's machlekes, you can go out with it or not.
So you gotta take it off?
According to certain opinions, you have to take it off. The belt is b'shas al-chak demeiko.
On Shabbos?
Huh?
On Shabbos, you do it.
No, if we move the button, no. The opposite of tefer. Okay, now, is somebody allowed to go out with their shoes untied? Walking out, your shoes are untied. Can I walk out with that? The answer is yes, because it's part of the shoe. And people do wear shoes even when they don't tie the laces. So again, it's the normal way of wearing a shoe without tying the laces. The same thing, you could wear boots over a shoe, or galoshes that Californians don't know what it is. Galoshes, people out east know what it is. It's either to protect you from rain or protect the shoe from snow, whatever it is. But that is allowed according to all opinions. Because when the shoe gets wet, your foot gets wet. So this rubber galoshes or boots are actually protecting the person from getting cold. And we learned that to protect you from the elements, that according to all opinions you're allowed to wear.
What is the original of the name galosh?
I don't know. Galoshes is an English word, but it's in a lot of languages. In Yiddish, it's called kaloshin.
You used to say galosh.
I'm saying that's a different. It's a universal word. Galoshes, galoshin. What? Sandals or even slippers that have no back to it. Let's say you're allowed to walk outside with slippers. It's a shoe. That's the way it's worn. Yeah. Shabbos and Kippur is the same din. You're allowed to walk out because that's the normal way of wearing it. People wear, huh? No, but it's in the foot. It's in the foot you're wearing it.
What does it mean? I think the same initially.
The what?
If it doesn't have a covered back?
Not nowadays.
Can you say the question again?
No, he says in the Mishnah, it says that it's slippers. You can, no. Provided they, see, the difference is like this. That Mishnah is talking about when they would fall off. If slippers always fall off, then you're not allowed to wear them on Shabbos or Yom Kippur. But providing normal slippers that you wear in the house, they don't keep falling off. It's you put your foot in properly. It's holding it. It's not an issue with that. Or if somebody, let's say, needs shoe inserts. whether the pads or soles or, tongue bed, whatever. All those is not a problem. It becomes part of the shoe. That's the way people wear shoes. So that's,
Those things that were very fashionable, I forget the name, but they're open in the back. Crocs. Pardon?
Crocs?
Crocs, yeah.
Crocs are not open in the back, but many of them are closed in the back.
Oh, you have a thing.
Okay, so
You have a thing, yeah.
what happens, there are many people that wear their shoes, by the way.
Or they bend it down.
They bend it down, and so you're allowed to wear those on Shabbos. That's the way. Huh?
Yeah, they bend the back.
They bend the back all the way down.
In Iran, they used to do that a lot.
There are people that do that, by the way. Bend down in the back, and then the foot it's supposed to be more comfortable. I don't know. I don't see how, but whatever.
I don't know why.
Okay. Okay, so slippers you can wear, show inserts you can wear. Now, what happens if somebody has a hat that's a little bit too big? So a lot of times they put in a paper, padding, or shoulder pads.
Oh.
Okay, so all those things are become part of the garment. But putting paper into a hat is only part of the hat if you're planning to leave it there. Not if you're planning to take it out right away. Because if you're planning to leave it there, then it becomes part of the garment.
Disposable.
No, it says you can't, by the way. They're right, you can't. Here. One may not use an important sheet of paper, such a letter that one values, to stuff a hat that he intends to wear outdoors on Shabbos, because he's going to remove the paper on Shabbos. So then you